One of the most critical parts of the entire home buying process, if not the most critical part, is going to be the inspection and repair time. This can make or break the deal altogether. So I wanted to take some time to put together a few, I guess, tips, not necessarily just tips, but just important things you need to know when you're trying to navigate inspections. Hey, my name is Glenisha Johnson with Artformhomes and EXP Realty, and I'm an artist and a realtor in the greater Birmingham, Alabama area. All right, so let's talk about these inspections. So inspections, like I said, the inspection and repair, part of the whole process can make or break a deal because it is one of the major contingencies on your contract. Okay, so again, like I said, I want to get some of these things I'm going to express are tips. Some things are just important things that you need to know. Remember, the inspection period is usually about 10 days. It's negotiable. It can be any amount, but usually people end up settling on 10 days. So this is time for you to get all of the inspections you want to get in, except for termite, sewer, septic, and survey. Those are additional inspections that do not fall in the realm of the inspection period. So here's a few things. Tip or little nugget number one is know that for these inspections, you're gonna have a general home inspector, and then you may get some specialized things done afterwards. Remember that general home inspector is like your general checkup doctor. When you go to like American Urgent Family Care, what is the name of the doggone hospital? American Family Care. I don't know. And you're getting just a general checkup. They're just a regular practitioner general checkup. So a lot of times, just like with a doctor's checkup, if there's something going on in a specific area, they're more than likely going to recommend you to a professional that deals in that specific area. Same thing with a general checkup. They're going to check the whole house for the most part, but in certain areas, depending on how old that particular item is, or if they see any type of damages or issues, they're going to recommend that you get an additional inspection from a professional that specializes in that particular area. So you might as well go ahead and anticipate that. And that kind of leads me into my next thing, which is actually more of a tip, which is to consider getting a major ticket item things inspected regardless of the home inspection. Now, granted, if you're trying to be strategic with your coin, totally understandable. That's why it's important to get that inspection done as soon as possible at the top of your inspection period, so that you have time when you get that inspection report back to determine, hey, I want to get these other ones done based on what he said. The roof is X amount of years old, we probably need to go ahead and get it checked, or not. Now, granted, like I said, you're trying to strategize with your coin. You can let that home inspection kind of lead you into that, to where if the roof is, it's like less than 5 years old, or you saw that it just put a new one on, you may want to forego doing that to make room for other major ticket items. That's only if you're comfortable. Again, I'm always going to advise to get those done regardless, because it's so important, because these are the things that, and it's the big five. The big five are the major ticket items that also can impact your health and safety, and that on the back end, if there's an issue, could more than likely run you a few $1,000s to get fixed and situated. And that's going to be roof, HVAC, foundation, plumbing, and your electrical. Those are the big five, the big things to consider looking into getting inspected regardless, right? So make sure when you're getting a general inspector, remember it's a general inspection. It's doing a general tour of the whole house to see what's going on. They're going to look at little bitty things and kind of, recommend that you go ahead and get a specialized inspector. So you might as well go ahead and build the anticipation. And I'm saying all these things because these inspections cost money, so this means you gotta really plan ahead, and they could range depending on who you choose. It can be less than $100, it can be $300 to $400 depending on who you choose. So you gotta be mentally and financially prepared to get all of those inspections done, and also get them done in supposedly a 10-day period. That's a lot of things and transactions happening at one time. And so keep considering, you know, you've already put up earnest money. That money just came out the account. So you also need another big chunk of cash to spend on these inspections. So it's something to be something to be mindful of and to plan for, so that you be able to do that. Okay. Next tip, and I got notes here, y'all. I'm sorry. So my next tip, and this one's really important. This is a tip. It's not necessarily a thing to know. This is a tip. Hire certified, unbiased professionals. Okay. This is so important. Please do not try to cut corners or be cheap with friends and family members. No. Now, all of us have an Uncle Eddie who ain't nowhere near, nobody's kind of certified, but can fix almost anything. And if he is charging, he's probably going to charge you a couple of bucks. You know, we talking like 50, 60, 70 bucks, less than 100. We all got him. I got one in my phone right now. We all have him. He's not the one that needs to be doing your inspections at all. At all. No. He don't need to be doing it. You get the house first. Okay? Purchase the house first. Get ownership of the house first. Then you can get him to come in and fix little things. But he does not need to do your inspections. That's going to mess you up. Also consider, even if you got a family member that's a contractor that could probably, you know, cut you a deal because they're a family member, it's still important not to have a biased professional in that space with you. Because here's the thing, with family members and, you know, anyone that's biased towards you in any way, that could cloud their judgment a little bit. Because a biased family member can come in, they'll see these things, and they may want to try to, quote unquote, tell it like it is in their mindset, and kind of maybe over dramatize certain things to an extent, because they in their mind, they feel like they're looking out for you. And what's the most dangerous part of that is they can start to proceed to start giving you realtor advice and telling you what to do. And I'm not saying that because that means they're stepping on my toes or your realtor's toes, because honestly, we're not supposed to be advising you like that either, telling you what to do or telling you how to, you know, what exactly you need to do to negotiate. Our job as realtors is to take on the information we get from the inspection report, interpret it, contact, you know, the inspector to help interpret it and what it means for you, lay out all the alternatives, lay out all the scenarios, their pros and cons, lay that all out for you and help you make an educated decision. We're not supposed to be telling you what to do. That's dangerous. We are to give you our best opinion. But a lot of times family members is a little more comfortability, so they could be like, nah, cuz you need to do this and you need to do that. That's not. And also, I want to go off on a slight tangent. When it comes to family members and this process as a whole, be very, very careful about letting your family members kind of strongly impact this decision when they're not going to be on the deed, they're not going to be on the loan, they're not going to be living in the house. It's very important that they don't have a strong bias impact on your decision making. Reason being is, again, just like if they were a contractor, they may have a tendency to either over dramatize situations that are not, that may not be an issue because they don't know, and giving you advice that you don't need to get, like telling you, you know, what you should be offering for a house, and they have not done market research first. No. So just be mindful, you know, that those biased opinions can be harmful, and they can have you being indecisive. It may talk you out of a house that you would have been very well content in. And know that that's not me saying I'm trying to get you to buy a house that's not going to be good for you. We are obligated as realtors to look out for your absolute best interest. So no one's trying to get you to purchase a lemon. But know that your family members, if they've not been trained and they've not pursued all of the data and the information to help you make an educated decision, and they're just kind of moving off of what they think they know, especially if they haven't purchased a house in 20 years, no. So it's very important not to allow them to have such an impact on your decision making, because that makes your realtor's job a lot harder. If you're going to have a realtor guide you through this, let your realtor guide you through this, and respectfully decline with your family members like, thank you, but I'm going to talk with the realtor and then I'm going to make an educated decision. Please do not let them impact your decision making so much that you potentially miss out on getting your home, and you're back out here in the buyer competition world throwing offers left and right until you get another one accepted. Okay, that's very important, and that happens a lot. So just, that was a little tangent. Be mindful of that. Families, they have great intentions, but if they don't have the data and they don't have the information and the knowledge to back it up, and their intent is not to help you make just an educated decision versus telling you what you should or should not do, that's not helpful. It is not helpful to you at all. Okay, next tip. This is a tip as well. Prepare financially. If you're watching the videos I've posted before, I'm always saying save aggressively, prepare financially. So these expenses with inspections, these are expenses that you are paying upfront. You will need to, just like with the earnest money that's got to come out of your account within 3 days. This money with the inspectors, a lot of times you may have to pay them before they come out, or right after they come out. This is not something that's going to roll over into your closing costs. You need to be ready to pay them up front. So prepare financially. And again, if you're pursuing getting inspections for all of the big five, and all of them are maybe a couple $100s a piece, so you got to take that in consideration. You got to be ready to pay for all of them. So prepare financially. All right, so this next thing is a thing for you to know, just general information for you to truly know when you're navigating your inspections, is that Alabama is a buyer beware state. I believe we are the last and only buyer beware state. I could be wrong, but I believe last time I caught wind of that information, I think we were the last one. We always behind. We arcade. I'm sorry. Anyway, but we're a buyer beware state, which means that the onus, the responsibility is on you as the buyer to make sure the house is in good condition. The seller is not obligated to, they're obligated to disclose certain things, that especially things that as much as to their knowledge, they're required to disclose things that may impact health and safety, but they're not obligated to disclose everything. They're not, because some stuff may not be a health and safety issue, but it's still gonna cost you some money. They're not obligated to disclose that. It is important and it is vital for you to take on the onus of saying, I've got to make sure this house is right for me. So it is very, very important that you pursue inspections. You don't have to, but you can try not to if you want to. That can be a major problem for you on the opposite end, because once you close that deal, there's no liability. You cannot sue anyone, especially if you do not pursue an inspection at all. That's it. So that's where we are in Alabama. You got to make sure that the house is right for you. That's not on anybody but you. Okay, that's important. All right. Next thing, this is not a tip, but more so of a nugget to know. Okay, inspectors will only check what they can see. Right? So if there's a crawl space that they're not able to get into, they're not gonna check it. If outlets and important things like that are covered up by furniture, they're not gonna touch the seller's furniture and stuff and move stuff around in order to see things. So you have to take that into account as well. So certain things they may not be able to see, and they're not obligated to maneuver to try to see them. If it's not laid out there for them to see, things are not turned on for them to check, they're not going to check it. So keep that's something to keep in mind. So if something is missed and if it was covered up, there's nothing they can do about that. Okay, so next tip is be reasonable and strategic in your repair requests. Okay, so consider the fact that you beat out a lot of offers and there's probably some backup offers behind you in case things don't work out with you and the seller. So strive to kind of keep that same energy. You did a lot to get that offer. You fed their profit, their payout, and you did things to make your offer super attractive. You probably need to keep that same energy when it comes to repairs. This doesn't mean that you just kind of take anything and just say, I'm not gonna rock the boat at all. You can rock the boat, but rock it in good faith, so to speak. Focus on the big five. If there's anything from roof, HVAC, plumbing, electrical foundation that's going to be a major financial burden, focus on that as far as your negotiations for repairs. I would say try not to be too excessive or focus too much energy on like small, cheap cosmetic things. Don't do that. Because consider the fact that just think about a little bit of common sense. If there's something that's blatantly not done, if there's something that you see is blatantly not done, and my example I always like to put out is like the walls are like crazy colors and they were not painted before the seller put the house on the market. Stuff like that, they weren't, and honestly, it transcends to the bigger ticket items too. They weren't intended to do it. They weren't intended to do this. If it was blatant, they know. They just weren't intended to do it. Their goal is to leave and depart the home. They're not trying to put more money into it. They're not trying to basically renovate the house for you in order for you to move in. So you got to kind of think about that mindset, and just be very strategic. If this is going to be an issue, one of the big fives, and something that's going to be financially burdensome, focus your energy on that and see if you can negotiate a compromise that gets a win-win for the both of you. But if you kind of tend to get anal and nitpicky, and really, just petty about the small things, consider the fact that these sellers may have some leverage with some backup offers. And they're really just not gonna be threatened by that kind of stuff. So be strategic, rock the boat in good faith so you can get really important things that you need to get taken care of. So, and also, here's another tip. Be flexible. Be flexible within those repairs. It's a tip within the previous tip. Be flexible with how you negotiate what's gonna be done. Because like I said, common sense, if they didn't do it before they put it on the market, they weren't planning on it. They're not trying to. They're trying to go. They try to get out of there. So, an alternative could be that you could end up maybe lowering the price if they don't want to do repairs, or seeing if they can give you more money in your closing costs, because the more money your closing costs, it's less money out of your pocket and more money you can devote to these projects yourself. So just be flexible. Be flexible with how you negotiate that. There's more than one way to skin a cat. I hate that phrase, but it was the only one that fit. It's fresh out my mind. But anyway, so be mindful of that. Be flexible. Focus on a win-win in those negotiations, because you want to get through and close out that contingency so you can get to the closing table. All right, this is my last tip. Know and remember your priority. And the reason I say that is because the seller could very well decline your repair request. And so you got to figure out what's your next move. And that's going to be determined by your priority. I've had clients in the past, their priority is, we want our house. Now, that didn't mean we just took anything. We just, we took a limit or a money pit. However, they found that the things that turned up in their inspections were things they were willing to deal with. We still, of course, negotiated and got things like some extra money in closing costs to kind of help. They had repairs they were going to need to do when they moved in, and so that kind of offset their funds, so they will be able to contribute to that. But ultimately, they desired to not rock the boat so tremendously that it would derail the deal. That was just their situation. May not be yours. So know what your priority is. If you're like me and you're a little bit more on like certain like principle of certain things, of just like, you need to fix this ain't right. You've been living under this house with this thing, you ain't gonna fix it. That may be my mindset to certain things. But that if that's your priority, that's your priority. If you feel like it's ultimately not worth it and you don't feel comfortable with when they deny a major request, and you really don't feel comfortable moving forward because that's going to be an issue for you in the future with that expense, you very well, yes, that's a part of your contingency. You can walk away from that. You don't have to just take things, lying down, but it's important to know. If you know you want your house and you're willing to deal with it, then it's important to negotiate in that way. If you don't want to rock the boat, don't rock the boat. But if you want to stand firm on this is not going to work out for me, stand firm on that. You don't have to be moved one way or the other. All of these choices are up to you. Again, I always say you have to sign these documents. You have to put up this money. You have to be responsible for this loan. You have to pay these expenses. You have to pay for these repairs and get these things done after you moved in. You have to live with all these things. So the decision has to be yours. And so again, your realtor's only job is to present everything in front of you, all the data, give their best advice on all of these scenarios, pros and cons, what may work best in their favor, what may not, and ultimately leave that up to you to make the best educated decision. No one should be telling you exactly what to do. You have to figure out what is best for you and your family as you're getting ready to move into this house. Okay? So, click the link in my description for the entire, I did a video on the entire under contract process, what that looks like from start to finish, because this is just inspections. It's a small portion of it. If you want to know what that looks like from start to finish, kind of just a general, I call it a general thread. It can look different for everybody, but that's kind of like a general thread, a general process that takes place. So click that link. It'll take you to that video. Of course, as always, I'm here and available for any questions that you may have. Feel free to click the link for my Calendly to schedule a consultation with me. Or like I said, if you feel more comfortable, send me a text, send me an email, put a comment below. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. So that's all I have for today. I hope you guys have a blessed one. Much love. Take care, and I'll talk to you later.